shoulder toward the house. It was one of those $120,000 starter homes that people stay in for 30 years, a rambler with attached garage. I left her sitting by the Audi and followed the narrow S-shaped concrete path to the front door. The door was open. A heavy odor of decaying garbage greeted me 6 paces before I reached it. I looked inside through the screen. A body dressed in blue jeans and a red t-shirt was sprawled in the center of the room in plain sight. No, it wasn't red. It was a white shirt soaked in dried blood. I had an unobstructed view of the man's bearded face. It seemed to be moving. I squinted. Maggots and flies. Flies everywhere. My gag reflex kicked in hard. I put my hand over my mouth and turned away. The police cruiser came to a sudden halt behind my vehicle, the officer stomping on his brakes as if he were making a pit stop at Talladega. He was out of the car before his siren died away. The only thing that slowed him down was the immense wall of heat that smacked him upside the head the moment he opened the door. It had been only 4 minutes since I used my cell phone to call it in, and already the back of my polo shirt was saturated with sweat. "Bomback, APD," he barked. "APD?" my inner voice asked. "I called the Coon Rapids Police Department," I said. "This is Anoka, son." No wonder I couldn't find Meyer's house. I was in the wrong city. Bomback swelled his chest and tugged at his gun belt. "What have you got?" A cowboy, I told myself. I need this, I really do. Worse, he was young. He looked like a bat boy for a minor league baseball team, yet he was calling me son. "You have a first name?" I asked. Bomback glared at me as if I had just questioned his mother's occupation. "Boyd," he snapped. "Well, Boyd, it's like I told dispatch." I used my chin to point at the woman. "This woman wants to report a dead boyfriend." The woman was still sitting on the grass, still staring at a reflection in my car door. "Ma'am?" Bomback asked tentatively. The woman didn't answer. "What's your name, ma'am?" "Ma'am? You reported a dead body, ma'am?" No reply. "Do you live here, ma'am? Is the body in the house?" Still nothing. Bomback glanced up at me. "I think she slipped into a fugue state," I said. "A what?" "A pathological condition in which a person is conscious of her actions, yet has no real control over them. Kind of like sleepwalking." "What do you know about it?" "I read." From Bomback's expression, you'd think I had just confessed to downloading kiddie porn. He turned toward the house. "I'm going in," he announced. "Yeah, you do that. I'll see you around." "Where do you think you're going?" "Hey, man, I've got places to go, people to see." "No, no, 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 you stay right here." I was afraid he'd say that. I attempted to lean against the Audi, but the surface was far too hot, so I just stood there, arms crossed in front of me, and waited while Bomback followed the sidewalk to the woman's house. He opened the front door, stared for a few moments, then quickly closed it without going inside. A moment later, he crossed the lawn, moving quickly in a straight line, stopping only when he reached his police cruiser. He braced himself against the hood with both hands, ignoring the heat. He seemed to have trouble catching his breath. Beads of sweat trickled from his hairline and down his jaw. I was willing to bet that the Kevlar vest he wore and the 19 pounds of equipment he carried were beginning to feel very heavy indeed. Officer Bomback stood that way for a full 30 seconds, trying to fill his deflated lungs with air. Finally, he turned to look at the woman. His mouth worked as if he wanted to ask her something. She was still staring at her reflection. Silent. I watched a maggot slither across her bare foot. Bomback saw it too. It was too much for him. He moved between the police cruiser and the Audi. Using the bumpers for support, he hurled both his breakfast and lunch into the street. "You okay?" I asked. "No, I'm not okay." After he stopped retching, Bomback wiped his mouth with the back of his hand. He glared at the woman. "What did you do?" The woman glanced up at him, shielding her eyes from the bright sun with the flat of her hand. Bomback swooped down on her, grasped her shoulders, and yanked her to her feet. "What did you do?" he said. "Hey," I said. Bomback shook the woman fiercely. "What did you do?" He shoved her backward. The back of her head thudded.